it's Beep here. I want to show you my propagator that I use always early on in the year to start my plants off. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So the propagator comes into two parts. It's a base and it's this top, and it's got an electric plug which is here. You put in the electric and you control the heat via these two air holes. You can see it's not strong, but it doesn't need to be strong. It just needs to, you place this inside your house and no wind or anything will hit it, so it's fine. And this will start steaming up, and then you control it with these air ventilation holes. So I use a propagator to start off seedlings. It's January at the moment, but I would use the propagator January, February, March, April. You don't really need a propagator anymore because the ground is warm enough. But the first 3 months of the year, when you do need to start off a lot of plants, is always very cool, and at night the temperature drops quite a bit. So we don't, you need warmth for the plants. You don't put compost in this base. You always start off with a tray of some kind where you put compost in, and the seeds go in here. For showing you how it works, I've put my rosemary plants in here, which actually would benefit from some warmth. So I might plug it in and use it. So you would put a tray with compost in and place it in here, plug it in, put the lid on top, and you just leave it on until you're happy with the size of plants, and from there on you move on to the second stage. But really, chilies will take a fair few days. They're quite slow to come up, so having them in this propagator would help a chili plant. It really depends on what seed you're sowing, on how long it takes. Say for instance, peas would be very quick, and some people do put peas in here. I wouldn't use it for peas, but each to their own. I would literally use it for tomatoes, peppers, aubergines. I'm going to use it for the chilies. I'm trying to think what else I would use it for. A little bit plants that are a little bit harder to start off. They need a little bit more care. Yeah, it's important to keep the propagator still in light, because the plants will always grow to the light. So in this conservatory, they'll grow to the window. So you have to, for instance, these will start aiming to the window. And so you constantly have to just turn them so that the plant learns to grow straight. Because if you allow them to just grow to the window, it will weaken the plants, as they will just keep growing really fast towards the light. So it's very important. Just keep turning them. It's nearly every day. And they'll just straighten up while still trying to continue to grow to the light. But it will help give you much stronger plants. A mistake many people make is to leave them in the propagator too long. They get spoiled, that's what I call it. They get spoiled because it's so warm, and then when they hit the outside world, they find it much harder to handle the cold, because they're really not used to it, because they've been like in a central heated home. And so you've got to take them out of the propagator after about 3 weeks. It really depends on the plants. And I will show you as I go along, after I've sown my chili peppers, what to look for to think the plant is strong enough to handle it. And it's what I call hardening off. And hardening off is you could start with, say I turned the propagator off for these plants. I take the top off, they don't need it anymore. And you leave them out like this. In the daytime, you leave them out. But at night time, it always is colder, and that's where a lot of people lose plants, because they don't look after them at night. They think it's okay. So, say it was this evening, I would pop this on to keep them warm at night, but I wouldn't plug it in anymore. I'd leave this open, so these vents open, so that they get used to having airflow. In the morning, I would take this off again to allow the plants to get used to the colder air. This is what I call hardening off. So you give them cold, and then you give them a bit of warmth overnight, because we all need a bit more warmth overnight. And that way your plants become strong, and when you come to planting them out, they will survive in your garden. One more thing is, it's January, and I am going to sow some tomatoes and chili peppers and maybe some peppers. But I've got a little mini greenhouse where I can plant them in once they're big enough. If you haven't got anything and you want to plant your chilies outside, well, chilies you do need to start early, but tomatoes and peppers you can start February, March. They'll soon catch up. You can start too early with plants. And I can understand the weather is nicer and the sun is shining and you want to get on, but I would recommend sow later if you don't have a greenhouse or tunnel, and you can sow early if you do have them. So that's it for now. Thank you. This is what Reggie thinks of my propagator video.